SSO. I read the rules and I set the game up. It was supposedly 5 minutes according to the box. Setup time 2 minutes. Well, we're going to test that later. Yeah, so how it looks like is you have a bunch of mission cards. They're all the same once you know them, of course. They have to be number side face up. Then I'm going to move the camera a bit. You have the ship. The ship is supposed to be set up like this. So it has two pods, two pods, and each pod has powering by a solar array. So if the solar array goes down, this is flipped on, and anyone in it is instantly killed. Then here's also two pods with each powering station. The central corridor in the main airlock. I suppose that is the way we entered the abandoned ship. There's the recreation room, which is connected to the far out computer module and command module. The people that you select randomly have their corresponding icon chips. So they are color coded and symbol coded. For example, the two dots here, they correspond to let's see, who is it? Okay, so this is they correspond to the card of the person. There are about 13 characters to choose from, and let me find the other one. So it's the single dot thing that I need to take out. The guy who designed this is a little bit colorblind, because this is very dark green, much darker than the card it is on, and as you can see here, never mind these two, as you can see here, it's absolutely not the same. But it doesn't really matter. So to show the rest of the game board, it's larger than I thought. These are the 6 characters that you control for a solo play, of course. This is a 7th unknown character, and the green deck holds the rest of the, like, pilots, first officer, science officer, logistics, and radio officer. So that this is the crew deck, green crew deck. Then there's the blue activation deck that you have to shuffle, and in an activation you draw as many alive crew members there are. Like, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you assign the cards either face down or face up, and if you assign them face up, then you have to execute for that character the action. So for example, if I have the astronaut, everybody's in the central corridor, he must move to the recreation room. The psychiatrist, for example, I select if I attach this card to the psychiatrist, then he has to move to any pod and perform a crew action, etc. So this provides some level of agency in the midst of the evil AI and the single tier deck that is that you are combating. Then there is on the far out the ship's oxygen. And I think I have to take it out because it doesn't really belong to the characters, but instead it belongs to the ship. It's a digital system, so it starts on 12 with the red, and it starts on 5, and every turn, we come later what a turn is, every crew member is breathing oxygen. Yeah, so -6, that is why it doesn't go to 10, I think. Minus from 12 to 6, it goes to 0 and then to 5 again. And this 10 meter is decreased 1. So you go from 12 to 11 to 10 and this doesn't move as long as you have 6 crew members. So that's about it. It starts at full max. So that's nice because the ship apparently has generated enough oxygen. Then yeah, there are some extra cards, and they actually show you that it is the 2nd edition, because it's unlocked as a stretch goal for the SSO 2nd edition Kickstarter. I don't know if and when the word stretch goal is relevant here, but they are emergency hologram and stowaway. So I think it makes the most sense to add these to the SSO deck. The crew deck. The crew deck itself is no longer used unless you have a card that allows you otherwise. Now, so that's the green SSO deck, the blue SSO deck for the activation, for the player agency. And then there is also the red SSO deck. And these are the horrible things that can happen. So we finally have some kind of try to move rank token to its crew cards, on its crew card to another crew card. That means these tokens can move to another crew card. It's not really that relevant. Well, how it works is like so. This thing stays on the ship. Unless it's killed, of course, and the corresponding crew icon, the 9 for example, with the rank, is a second identifier for the same character, and that number can move through the crew space. And if the astronaut, for example, is visited by the oxygen specialist, then an astronaut dies, everybody suffers a morale. Morale can only go to 0, so it cannot be negative. But the guys on top, on the same card, suffer an additional 2 extra morale. So you are going from 4 to 3 because the astronaut died, and to 2 to 1 because it was your friend. So that makes some kind of thematic sense. This deck is 24 cards. 2, 3, 4. Let's do it like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 24 cards, and you win if you resolved the last card. So if you resolved all 24 cards. There are some abilities that allow you to skip a card, but you can. I think you can count on at least 20 cards to process. So for a simple game, I would suppose. Because I have a problem with single tier decks. 24 faculty is the amount of possible game events. And 24 faculty is incredibly huge number. That is, first of all, I'm very sure that it hasn't been tested, and second of all, it determines, irrespective of player skill, if you succeed or die, because there can be like in all these games, there can be combinations that give you simply no chance. So the best option would be for me to have at least, when I resolve the first card, some information on the second event card. But that won't be enough, I think. And an alternative would be to have just 12 cards. And if you go through the 12 cards, then at least for a real beginner, you will actually have some chance of surviving. And as long as you win, you add a card. As long as you lose, you remove a card. So you go, if you're really bad, you go to 11, 10, 9, etc. cards. And just as long as you have fun in the game. But that is some way to mitigate